Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the NBA. So y'all check this out. Well, NBA season, we ain't even halfway there. We don't really like to talk too much NBA before actually the trade deadline. And after all the All-Star game and all that stuff going on, then we're going into what's really going to be going down. But it's a few storylines going on, and one of them will be the Los Angeles Clippers, right? Los Angeles Clippers. You know, at the end of the day, I did not like the James Harden trade because I just don't like watching James Harden play basketball, period, right? But James Harden trade, we thought things were not going to look so good, and it's looking on the up and up. Things going pretty good for the Clippers. Can they conquer that Clipper curse? Because we just see, the Clipper curse is something real. It's something real, man. Just last year in the playoffs, what happened? Westbrook and them and just the rest of them boys had to try to do well, and the playoffs was doing well. I think they was leading 3-1 against the Suns or something, or was leading in that series. They definitely was doing well. Not leading in the series, but they were doing well in that series. But they just didn't have the firepower because both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard was hurt. So we've been dealing with Clipper curse for years. Just even go back to the Blake Griffin era. That's when I didn't really even miss Clipper games. Once Blake Griffin got there, his little 5-year run in the NBA was phenomenal. I mean, highlight after highlight, night after night, him learning, being a high flyer, but also then learning low post moves. His low post moves were impeccable, finishing with both hands, being able to have good handles and seeing the floor, all those things. And the NBA just kind of just changed to only 3-point shots. So people like that, like a Blake Griffin, is almost extinct. But that particular time when Blake Griffin was coming into the league, that was awesome. So I didn't miss that. The Clippers looked pretty good. They had DeAndre Jordan at the time. Then later even Chris Paul came. So, that team was really looking good. Expectation was rising. They had J.J. Redick, on the wing. And even Jamal Crawford coming from the bench. Had a lot of little things going on in Clipperland. And so they were doing good. But, even the one series leading 3-1 against Houston, Houston come back and win that series, And then after that, some kind of injury would come every time, without any kind of hope for it not to happen, the Clipper curse. It is there, right? So, with Kawhi Leonard getting hurt all the time and Paul George, you're thinking, well, the Clippers, man, it's just not going to happen. Something's going to happen to where they're just not going to get over the hump. But you never know. This could be the year, because when you're looking at the Clipper team, right? You're looking at the Clipper team right now. First, I want to say something about Vinny Del Negro back in the day with the Clippers. They had the team before even the next coach came in. I forget his name right now. Doc Rivers came in. Vinny Del Negro was about to do something with DeAndre Jordan at the time where they were going to be going down low to DeAndre Jordan and not just let DeAndre Jordan be a pick and roll guy and just set picks all day because he's not a shooter. But he's ambidextrous and could jump out of the gym. You work with those kind of things. And Vinny Del Negro was about to start doing that. He was going down to DeAndre Jordan early in games. And that's good because it makes his defense have to also be engaged, his defender. But normally, you don't have to really stick DeAndre Jordan. But if you go down to him early, get that other center in foul trouble, let DeAndre finish a few things, and he's going to make a few mistakes, of course, because he don't get the ball that often. I remember I was complaining about things like that at the time because DeAndre Jordan was reduced to just running around setting picks, getting an alley-oop maybe twice a game. And he could have been a little bit better than that. I would have went to him. I would have forced us to go to him because he's ambidextrous. He can finish with both hands. And, I would have went down to him. But whatever. Be that as it may, we went through that, right? So now we're here. And you're looking at the team the Clippers got right now. And you're looking at, I have to watch James Harden play. Okay, but at the end of the day, when you have that starting five and Russell Westbrook going to the bench, right? Okay. But when you got Harden, you got Paul George, you got Terrence Mann, but you got George and Kawhi Leonard. You're a little weak on the 4 position. You got Zubac, right, at the center position. You're a little weak at the 4 position. But the people who will be guarding those 4s are people like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, right? Who are extremely good defenders. Every part of the defense you need: pass lane defensive, man-on-man defensive, shot blocking, anticipation, all of those things. Very, very good hands, very, very high in the steals, both of those guys. So they can probably compensate for their lack of size against other fours. But that's where I would attack the Clippers, because throughout the lineup, there's nobody on that any beef on the 4 position. But therefore, on the 5 position, you got Zubac followed up, who's, let's get Zubac is serviceable for sure. Can finish around the rim, loves the rebound, got a little mid-range game. He doesn't really use it that much often because it's just too many, it ain't enough balls. But he can finish, very serviceable, and like I said, loves the rebound. You got that. You got Tice coming in behind him, who is a perimeter defender as well. He's very good. He moves his feet real well, likes to block shots, more so than Zubac, loves to block shots, and he can stretch the floor. You can't leave him at the three-point line by himself. He can knock that shot down. And then if he's out for some kind of reason, then you got Mason Plumlee. Plumlee is ridiculous. Plumlee can burst ball, period. Very good passer. He rebounds, sees the floor. He's just very all-around pretty good guy. He's not going to shoot from outside or nothing like that. But those 3, you got that position wind up. So at the end of the day, you got a good starting 5. You got Russell Westbrook, who brings something different, right? That half-court game is over when Russell Westbrook, and then they're going to start running. You got Powell coming in, who's an absolute scorer. So what I'm trying to say here about the Clippers team is the reason why this year might be a year for something a little bit more than they normally would do, like an NBA final, is because I'm looking at them and I can see they can compensate for a loss of a player, any one of them. They can compensate. If Kawhi goes down, this team could compensate. They could just put Powell in the starting lineup, let Russ still come from the bench, and just rotate him a little bit more tighter. If Paul George goes down, same thing. If James Harden goes down, you can put Westbrook right in the starting lineup. Then all of a sudden you got Bones Highland getting more minutes from the bench. Listen, they can compensate for an injury, right? I thought that the Clippers were okay last year. They did not need to get James Harden. Right, they were going to be fine, because I was watching what Russell Westbrook did in the playoffs with just that team. And if you put Russell Westbrook in there and James Harden out, that team's going to be good too. You still got Kawhi and Paul George with someone who wants to facilitate. That's another reason why I think the Clippers are going to be okay. You got 2 willing facilitators in Russell Westbrook and James Harden, throwing them alley-oops, pick and roll, and transition offense, wanting to get others involved. When you got players like that get you 20 assists on the point guard position, willing to pass, then everyone's engaged because they're filling the lanes. They understand that they're going to get the ball because this guy wants them to get the ball. Everybody's engaged, which means most people are happy. Most people on the team, okay, because Kawhi ain't passing it much, but it's money. Why would he? He's money. You know what I'm saying? Paul George is another guy that's money. He'll pass a little bit more than Kawhi Leonard, but they ain't got to. We got other people trying to pass y'all the ball. Handle y'all business. So the Clippers look like they'll be able to overcome this. I'm telling you. I think they can probably, they could probably go to the NBA Finals. Listen, I know we got Detroit. I know we got Denver. Right? And it's a whole lot of things going in the West. There's a whole lot of little things. Oklahoma City's looking good. Chet Holmgren and, your boys, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It looks like the truth going on there, but I don't know if they can compensate an injury. But they're looking good up there, too. It's a lot of teams. Minnesota, I'm just, we expecting them to fall off for some reason. But Karl Anthony Towns and your boy, the Eiffel Tower, the Stifle Tower and them, they handle their business because, Edwards is, their little Michael Jordan over there. And they got their little recipe, and it seems to be working for a long time over there. And I'm just not going to ignore the Pelicans, but the Pelicans have to be healthy. But the Pelicans, we can ignore them. I'm looking at the Pelicans, too. I'm looking at, wait a minute. First of all, Brandon Ingram is the truth. So you got that element. If it is a big if, but if your boy stays healthy, you know, big boy. I forget his name right now. Big boy. You know what I'm saying? If he stay healthy, we all right. You know what I mean? But you still got McCollum over there. And you got Herb Jones, who's an excellent defender who is starting to knock down threes. So that means when Murphy's back, Troy Murphy is back now. Means they're loaded. Just not one of the main guys won't get hurt. Their issue as well. But the Clippers have a lot of motivation. First of all, these cats, their main guys are old. They're all over 30. Harden, Westbrook, George, Leonard. All of them, ain't none of them under 32. All the way up to 35, 36 years old. But Westbrook about 35 right now. So they're older cats. They got to make it happen. But Harden, Westbrook, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard from L.A., they would love to be. We roll with the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? It's L.A. up in here. But you would still love to be those guys who cracked that Clipper curse. I'm pretty sure they want to be those guys. This is their last chance. They're over 30. You know what I'm saying? It's their last chance. But they would love to be the guys. And I know that. That's the little motivation they got to break that Clipper curse. Just look at James Harden. Just himself. Like, I hate watching him play. But for people, you know, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one because we be running around cheating. But it's cool because he's going to make it, come off the dribble. He can dribble, go one-on-one, blah, blah, blah. He can make good passes and stuff. So that James Harden going to do his thing, right? But his reputation in the playoffs is abysmal. I'm sure he wants to address that. And he don't have no ring. Motivation. Even if you playing, you can act like, oh, I don't care about that and all that. Yes, you do, because you play for things. That's what you play for. It ain't just money. Even if you're just playing for money, you still got to motivate yourself to go to work. So you playing for a damn ring, right? And you don't want to have a reputation of being all great in this regular season and not in the playoffs. So James Harden has some motivation. Russell Westbrook, my boy. Of course, he got motivation. He ain't got no rings, even though he's done the most incredible regular season thing in history by averaging a triple-double. So Russell Westbrook is there. But he's been called this and he's been called that. He's been told his whole career things he can't do. So getting a ring finally under these circumstances would be great for Russell Westbrook. Motivation. Paul George. People that act like he ain't done nothing. When he was in Indiana, basically, I ain't gonna say by himself. He had a decent team around him, but it wasn't. It was only All-Star on it. I think, but no, Hibbert made All-Star before though, but maybe once or twice. But Paul George's team wasn't that great at Indiana, and they was making some moves. He took them, I think, to the conference finals before. You know, so he did good by himself, but, you know, he didn't get no ring. And him and Russell Westbrook was at OKC doing well in the playoffs, and then Paul George's shoulder go out. And he couldn't play no more in those playoffs. So he's been kind of close before. I'm pretty sure he wants to get over that hump, and I'm pretty sure he'd like to do it in L.A. at the Clippers. Boom, no rings there. And Kawhi Leonard, yeah, he got a title with San Antonio, right? Being the third wheel there, but defender, but, you know, he wasn't a man. His legacy grew by taking Toronto, you know, similar to the Clippers, and winning a title. Kawhi Leonard win a title over here in L.A. for the Clippers, breaks the Clipper curse. Then his legacy, we're going to start talking about him in all that greatest stuff, right? And we're starting to move him up in, you know, in the annals of where he is. If he's a top 20, if he goes up in that top 10 and top stuff like that will start happening because of how he did it and where he did it. So there's a lot to fight for. There's a lot to fight for in L.A. I think we better keep an eye on these L.A. Clippers because, like I said before, the main reason, and you keep your eye on this, is I think if they don't lose two of their stars, if one goes down, they can compensate for that. That makes them scary. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm out of here, y'all.